It's officially October. A video a day from this channel. Anyway, and I figured let's kick it off with a bang, shall we? We've got candles, skull, festive things. My coffee had cinnamon in it this morning, and stay. One of the things that I really played with a lot last year, and of course played with every year, because I don't know, people I think really get into this time of the year for this reason, and it is because the veil is thinning. What the hell does that mean? The veil is thin. What is the veil? What's thinning? What's happening? What does that conclude? And of course, with every single witch and every single person who practices the magics and leans into things, this can all be different. Just my opinions on stuff. So, but anyway, disclaimer done. The veil, as I understand it, is that thing between us, our 3D realm that we have decided to operate within, and all the other realms out there. Dream realm, spiritual realm, the astral dimensions and other realities we may be participating in, the past, the future, with those that have passed on into other lives, etc. and so forth. In my mind, it is basically this time of the year is when the space in between everything is limited down. And when I think of the veil, I do think of it as this kind of fog of a threshold, because I don't think we're ever not connected to all of those things. I think many times we are connected, so much more than we even realize, to all those other ways the universe could operate within, right? So we are connected through our dreams, we're connected to that weird tingly sensation, we're connected through our intuition, just daydreaming, how we do magic. We are constantly connected. It is just easier during this part of the cycle to connect to it, aren't constantly practicing with it and naturally tapping into it. And a lot of times this is again when a lot of people will do things like talk to the loved ones, connect to the beyond in many different ways, and play with it. Now also, from my research, and what makes a lot of sense to me, is the realization that the veil thins twice a year. Not just now during all the spookies, but also around the time in the spring. Or I guess if you're in the southern hemisphere, that would be in the fall for you, as this is the spring now. But that makes a lot of sense when you think of maybe in the Christian, Judeo-Christian concepts of, right, a lot of the deities seem to come back to life across the veil during that time. Jesus, for example, supposedly in the springtime with his resurrection. That's why we got, I guess, Easter during that time, which a lot of people say is also kind of like a weird moving from, we took some things from paganism and mushed some stuff together, etc. and so forth. Okay, there's a lot of birth that happens during that time, a lot of transferring out. I also like to think of it as, for me personally, and Persephone being my matron, the idea that Persephone goes down during a certain time and she comes up during a certain time. And now I do believe she can kind of transfer in and out whenever the hell she likes. The fact that there is a descent and an inclination, that's when things seem to die off and come back in nature, etc. and so forth. I think there's a reason for that. Maybe a gateway opens, maybe a barrier lessens just a little bit. And so because of this, I think during these times is when we feel that extra energy. We experience that little tingle in the back of our neck when the unknown pops in, and it allows us to, I guess, suspend our disbelief a lot easier. And when we can suspend our disbelief and therefore believe in a lot more of what we don't know, well then magic can really get in there, can it? So one of the ways that I realize when the veil is thinning is my dreams get fucking weird, and I remember a lot more of them. I am not a person who naturally remembers dreams. I definitely had to work at the dream journal thing for a while, and even now I'm still really sucky at it. But so a lot of times when I am feeling into weird energies in my dreams is probably the first signal that I know the veil is starting to all the way off. Now, the next thing that I realize is I see a lot more shadows out of the corner of my eye. I feel eyes on me more often than not. And sometimes they feel very curious or friendly, and other times they don't. And most times when I do feel eyes on me, I always get, you know, like no one really likes to be watched all the time, even in our world where there's constantly cameras. So I always try to just focus in a little bit more and go, okay. And I just send out a little energy that radiates from my chest on outward, and basically it is the energy of, if you are friendly, please come and play. I've got no problem with that, but if you are not, I will mess you up. I do not care. You cannot get past. No. But I definitely feel a little more things lingering about, just kind of peeking in. And I really liked what a teacher of mine, when I took a class over 2 years ago, stated about scrying, and about when you're tapping into things, that a lot of times, because of the veil, it can feel like, especially when it's thin, that you're like opening a door and it's like it is unlocked and anything you want can come in. And that's not necessarily true. It's more so of, there's a window and you've like, and the fog is clearing on the other side of the window, and so now you're just seeing things, and things can look in and you can look out, but that barrier is still there. The veil is thin, not gone. So I definitely feel a little bit more of that. I feel a little extra need for some more protection magic, which I very rarely use on most of my day-to-day stuff. But during this time, I definitely feel the oomph, because I can feel the things looking in through the windows into this realm, if that makes sense. And then I think probably the most honest thing that I can say about the veil being thin and me feeling it in the predictions and all of that is the fact that I have this weird nostalgia, creepy but powerful feeling coming from within me, which is very interesting. A lot of times I feel a deep connection to something almost primordial within me, like that connection to the source of what I am, of where I came from, that inner power that seems to strengthen. It's almost like maybe my higher self, or maybe my connection to the source of it all increases, and it almost feels like something is slowly reaching out. And it doesn't necessarily feel a light in a lot of ways either. During this time of year, it can feel very dark, and the only way I can really describe it is it feels like this dark hand of like just pure freaking potential, like that pure chaos energy, like reaching in and almost like grabbing me by that like energy in the middle of my chest and giving me all this extra power and connection. But by gift, I don't mean it's like something grander and I am like, I don't know. It's not about what is this or that or whatever else. It's not a gift from something else. It is literally just me tapping into what is rightfully mine. It feels very empowering and very just like, hells yeah, I got some. And I don't know, and a lot of times when I feel that connection, when I feel that grip of me being able to tap into like almost like really what I am, that's when I know the veil is really thinning down too. And I think part of the reason I see things peeking in, or the reason I get the weird dreams, is all because of that very like connection. Is that's the first tapping in, is where I can feel that power. And again, these are things that are always there, even when the veil is quite thick. But when it is at this moment is when I can tap into that primordial source of where I come from. And from all of that strengthening, everything else I think kind of triggers off. So anyway, those are just kind of my thoughts on what the veil thinning is, how I feel it thinning. And so now to y'all, what happens to you when the veil thins? What is something you like to tap into right around this time? And do you tap into other things also in the springtime when it is also doing that? all of that in the comments down below. And as I said earlier, this is part of YouTuber. This is video 1, but there'll be a video every single day for the month of October. I have pre-filmed quite a bit because otherwise I would go insane, but if you have a video request, put it down below like as soon as freaking possible, because I am already probably massive batch filming. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.